So we want to get our compass set before we roll out to the runway. We can double check it while we're on the roll, but
yeah.
you know, anytime we're out on the runway, we should depart. So this should be set to the altimeter setting we got.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, it's
no, it was 3.3002.
Okay. Because Raphael just asked me, can I just set it to the field elevation? I said you can, but now we're going to another field, and they're using the same reference standard, which is the barometric pressure, not the field altitude, and there's no way to set that in the pattern there, so it's better to just be off by 50 feet than trying to guess.
Right.
And
right.
It's allowed to be off by, I think, 75 feet for that particular instrument in VFR, so when you get below 75 feet in this plane, you better have a runway in front of you and nothing else. Okay, so I'm going to close my window in a second. How you feeling about this whole thing? Good?
Very good.
Good. You seem like you... So let me just make sure we're good to go here. I'm just doing my check. We'll put on one more set of lights here, the landing light, nav light, and beacons on. Make sure that fuel primer's locked, and then we want to do... So we don't have a radio. We're on COM 2, so we... Radio check 1228. Hey, thank you. We're good to go now. We know this radio works. Just remember we're on COM 2 because evidently people are having a problem with COM 1. We have not made a radio call yet, so we'll check our ADS. Looks clear. There's people at South Jersey or somebody flying over. If you want, you should make the radio call. So you can say Skyhawk 738 Yankee Tango, departing runway 1, close traffic.
Blind W traffic. Skyhawk Yankee Tango, departing runway 1.
That works.
Closed traffic.
So, yeah, I'm glad you told me to get rid of that long sleeve shirt because I was really starting to get cranky. I'm not going to fly an airplane in a white undershirt, but I forgot I had a green one, so...
Oh, why not? T-shirt's a T-shirt.
Man, I have to draw a line somewhere. I'm going to throw this up for a minute just so you have a little better visibility on the climb out, and then if you need it. So we have, look up. We have a variable wind. The windsock just moved around about 90 degrees. It's a left or straight down the runway, crosswind. Left quartering, headwind, or straight down the runway, rather. You can see it just moved about 120 degrees, so it's mostly from in front of you. No deer on the runway. Everything's green. That's good center line control. I'm just going to leave you alone. See if you can land this plane.
Right.
Before I stop talking, which is really unlikely, I'm just going to tell you, don't forget that you need to use your feet. And it's going to probably most likely be right rudder required, and it's going to have to be maintained until you're on the ground.
Probably that.
All right. Oh, man, that's way better. I feel like we should go up to 6,000 feet. This is a really good spot to just put your nose down, make sure there's nobody coming into or out of South Jersey perpendicular to your path, or somebody coming in straight in on an RNAV.
Copy that.
And 500 of the wires is a good time to start your turn from upwind to crosswind here. Look back at the runway and just kind of gauge whether you're 90 or not, because I said I wasn't going to say anything, sorry. I need a gag. I need to put the mask in my mouth. I'll see if I can shut up until you get back over there. I am going to move my seat up when you level off, though, because I'm just a little bit too far back.
Traffic, use caution, Sky 1 Mail, bridge of N14, do not overfly the field, watch out. Cross Keys traffic, please use caution for Cross Keys. Skydiving in 2 minutes, parachutes over Cross Keys.
me know when you're going to level off because I'm going to move my seat.
I'm leveling off.
Leveled off. Still climbing. There we go.
Crossy, Caravan, Highway 627 Crossy.
I don't know. That actually feels good where it was. I think we were just in a steep pitch there. Man, I'm glad I'm not a golfer. That looks really boring. Get that on video.
I agree. 100%.
I gotta start learning sign language here.
Crossy, Traffic Caravan turning 1 mile final. 27 Crossy.
South Jersey traffic, Cherokee is back taxiing runway 26 South Jersey.
So I'm gonna make a slight intervention. Find W traffic, 738 Yankee Tango, right base 1. So watch your ball, and there you go. Not too steep though, that's like double, there you go. A little windy out here, so.
Sure is.
Okay, so we stabilized at 500 maybe, or close to it.
Uh-huh.
Right on the glide path, so that was nice. Still not here. So have a quick scan down here. You never get to the runway descending at 600 feet per minute. My hands are up here.
8 miles to the northeast, coming in for a full...
So if you add power and hold your pitch down right there, and just add some power and just maintain this pitch attitude right there, and use power to maintain the position on the glide path. Don't let the nose pop up. Nice, easy corrections. The instinct is to want to pull back because there's trees in the way. If you add a little power, you'll clear them. So now you can start working the power back. My hands are off the controls and off the rudders. Doing great. So there's your right rudder application. Oh, you did it, man. A little sideways. See, do you feel that bump?
Yes.
So I'm going to get you out of here.
Thank you.
Okay, flaps look good?
Yes, they do.
Let's get back on the center line and we'll get out of here. Got good airspeed at 60. Pitch attitude right here. Touch the wheel brakes. I'm going to give you the plane back. The flaps are up. I'm going to double check that.
They are.
Mixture's full rich, carb heat's off, full throttle, trim wheels neutral, and fuel's on both. Your plane.
My plane. So which way was I pointing?
You actually were doing everything. So this is a great part about having this video running. If this video camera is lined up with this compass, and the compass is a really, if you're watching the video later, you'll see that this is basically a sight looking over top of this, and you'll see the runway lines. First they were lined up, then they weren't, then they were again, and then you let go at the last minute. And when you land sideways, the wheel, it'll spin a little bit up to about 10 or 12 degrees, but 15 or 20 degrees sideways, it's just going to hit and bounce you back in the air with all the energy of the speed and vertical descent. So when you land hard sideways, you're going to land hard. And you're going to lose control of the plane too. So it's really helpful to, when you're getting ready to land, just put your head over here and just kind of get a picture without the parallax of the plastic windshield. Eventually, your brain, and I don't know how this part works, but your brain is a computer. Your brain will remember the parallax of the windshield and what the view looks like over here to correct, or what it looks like here and correct for where you're sitting. And I only know that because I've done what you've done at least as many times as you've done it, probably a lot more, which is land sideways. I think I mentioned to you that one cure for that is buying an airplane, because when you start smashing your own tires and landing gear, that usually cures the problem instantly. Okay, so we're a little bit low right now. So you get back on to the correct altitude and begin the descent, and preparation for landing at midfield here works great. Just good right here. You don't have to go nuts. Just try to get to 1,000 now.
Runway 26, South Jersey. South Jersey traffic at Saratoga midfield for the downwind for runway 8, full stop. Winds have changed. You might want to check the data. South Jersey. Thanks for the heads up. We'll switch it to runway 8. Thank you, sir. Nope.
Flight W738 Yankee Tango midfield right downwind 1.
So we're dropping to right here now.
There's just too much traffic on this frequency. They need to split this one more time. We're listening to guys that are 100 miles away here. Okay, take a look back the runway and tell me if we're 90 degrees to the base right now, or if we're gonna...
Pretty much.
We're about 10 degrees to... It's okay. What was the wind?
It wasn't.
Not a lot, it was variable, okay. Up here it feels like it's pushing me from this way, but there's some smoke right there, which kind of would suggest variability, I guess. Another knucklehead digging a pool right there.
Nice.
South Jersey traffic, turning final. Runway 8, full.
Okay, so I'm thinking your nose is just, there you go. I don't like my nose high, because whenever my nose is up and my power's low here, we are in a situation we're going to be stalling pretty quickly. So I like your power setting. You got the carb heat on. This is plenty of flaps till you get on final.
Correct.
This plane has 40 degrees of flaps, so. So our nose is pretty high right now, and your airspeed's bleeding off quickly, so if you keep your pitch attitude down and that power, you'll fly level. There you go. So now we're a little high, so get yourself lined up. We're 420 feet.
400 feet?
Yeah. There you go. There's a glide path. You can add the rest of your flaps, and my hands are up here, my feet are at the ready. Look at the windsock. It's showing a slight quartering headwind from your left. Now it just went straight, now it's left again, so. And you're feeling that variability right now.
You got jumpers.
So I like this approach. We're just a little bit high, but we're going to clear these trees, and now you can start working the power back, because you know you're going to clear them. Nice. So just keep the nose pointed down. Relax. Really small corrections, little right rudder. There you go. Just a touch of power, power, power. There you go. Got it. Yeah, when you're hanging 20 feet, it's powered. A little bit of power to get landing again.
All right. That's good to know.
We'll talk about that in a second. Let's get off the ground. Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Carb heat's off. Make sure full reg. Airspeed 60. We'll get out of here. Quick touch of the wheel brakes. Nose back down. Let's pick up some speed. Everything is set. Your plane.
My plane.
So do not. So we picked up a little gust of wind, and instead of descending, we started going up again. But we were really close to the stall speed with low power or no power setting. So if you stall at 20 feet, it's like falling off a 20-foot extension ladder in a wooden chair, and you're going to break your back, among other things, which I'm thinking is a lot more than most people imagine in terms of permanent damage. So this landing gear probably can easily take a 10-foot drop, but I don't know about 20 feet. I'm not suggesting you should do any of those things, but
exactly.
Your back will break. These seats are just made out of aluminum and a little bit of foam rubber, so they're not going to help you much. Okay, this is a really square pattern you're flying right now, so these silos, if you're parallel to these two sets of silos and there's one more way out there somewhere, that means you're on a nice crosswind leg. And I would start a downwind turn or you're going to be outside the pattern. There you go. It's pretty bumpy out here, so just...
Oh, easy. Ooh.
Yeah, I would just, everything's really gentle. Gentle turns, gentle banks. So now, this is a good time to start looking over at the runway to gauge, am I going to be parallel? I'd say that's parallel right there. There's 1049, level off, power setting, carb heat. You put your flaps in whenever, first notch whenever you want, get slowed down. Just don't go below 1700 RPMs in this plane at this point, because let's just come out a little bit. There you go. Perfect. So it's eventually you're going to figure out we keep flying in that way, so let's just bring it out a little bit to the left. That's parallel. Because a couple degrees will really screw you up on your base leg. And then if you look over at the racetrack, if you're pointing at the racetrack, that's not good.
Right.
There's not a lot of great landmarks out here. There's a water tank way out there somewhere. I can't even see it today, but... So we're kind of drifting back to that. Let's just turn right over here just a little bit. And then let's begin our descent. And we're already at 800 feet, so you don't want to go too far past the... yeah, we lost a little power. Just add a little power to 17 and put the nose down a hair. There you go. I would say you can probably start your base turn now. Yeah, you'll see on this breadcrumb track that we were making a really short base leg there, which is fine as long as you're aware of it and it's not too short. So here's where your nose keeps coming up. Nose right about, that's about the sight picture you want. You were like that before, and that's just going to bleed off really fast. So put it right there. Add another notch of flaps. Yeah, so start thinking about looking down the runway on final and knowing and anticipating you're going to need right rudder as the power starts to come out. And then on the way down this time, let's practice keeping the nose pitched down at a aiming point and using the power to control our descent. You want some more flaps?
Yes, please.
Actually, yeah, we'll go full flaps. So start pointing the nose down at the second stripe. That's going to be our aiming point. And you know you're going to be way long now, so start working the power back. There you go. I like this now. We're slowing down. Look at your airspeed, 68. I'll just keep calling them out for you. There you go. That's a good aiming pitch right there. Wait, we might land a little long, but we'll see what happens. You can take another third of the power out right now and keep the nose pitched down. There you go. This is good. And now you can start your round out by lifting the nose, and this is where we're forgetting about the right rudder, right rudder, right rudder, right rudder, right rudder, right rudder, right rudder. Okay. So it still wasn't. When you see this video, you'll see it wasn't all the way in yet, but I'm going to get rid of the flaps. We still have 2/3 of the runway remaining. Flaps are 0.
Flaps are 0.
Carb heat's off, and there's 61. Rotate, wheel brakes, and flaps are 0. Mixture's full rich, carb heat's off, trim wheel set for takeoff. Fuel's on both your plane.
My plane.
You're getting it.
So can you land with right rudder? Because I'm trying to land.
What do you mean, can we land with right rudder?
With my right foot depressed. Can I land that way?
Yeah, so that's a good question. That's probably what your brain is thinking if you're landing with the nose wheel sideways, right?
Right.
Yeah, so...
taking it off when I think we're going to touch down. And maybe that's why it's going off.
So a lot of these planes have a system where the nose gear steering is not even engaged while the plane is in the air, and it doesn't actually begin to work as a steering mechanism until you hit the ground. And I think the 172s, I don't know if they have a linkage or a bungee system. It's a very good question.
What's your intention?
738 Yankee Tango, we are right downwind, runway 1, flying W.
Alright, you're right extended downwind, correct? I see you like over the water there.
We're just turning downwind. 738 Yankee Tango.
Alright, I got you inside. I'm 2,200 feet. I'll drop in behind you.
Copy that. Looking for the traffic.
Runway 8, South Jersey.
Okay, let's find this guy. I think he's on the outside. You see him anywhere? He's over here somewhere, so let's keep an eye out. He's going to enter the pattern. He said he was downwind, but he was really going upwind to turn downwind. Do you see him yet? He's right here somewhere at plus 1,200 feet over Allen Field. I don't see him. I'm looking now. He's no factor. He is somewhere way back over your shoulder now, so we won't worry about him. I like this pattern.
I'm doing good, Joe.
Traffic 8 o'clock, 1 nautical mile, 1,100 feet above, so he's going to come in behind us.
Otherwise, fine.
It's going to kill these two guys. 738 Yankee Tango, right downwind, 1 flying W. Yeah, when these guys get on the radio and start having their coffee clutch, just
W traffic, experimental.
make it difficult.
5 for the right downwind, runway 1, full stop behind the Cessna, flying W.
Okay, so situational awareness-wise, there's a guy behind us, so you don't need to be overly concerned, but we don't want to, like, you know, fly a 5-mile downwind and then 4-mile approach leg.
057 is clearing runway 8 at South Jersey.
This all looks good. Carb heat's on, first notch flaps, right by the track. You'll probably turn out a little bit high, but who cares? We were high last time when we landed.
Cherokee is departing runway 8 in the pattern, South Jersey.
That looks pretty square to me. Yeah, let's not forget that question. We can check that when we get back, because
Traffic Skyhouse 48 Echo, left base, runway 27, Crossby traffic.
Raphael's actually has that camera running on the tail tie down, and you can actually watch whether his nose wheel is engaging. So you got a little wind here, but don't let it get you all kooky, because we're in a
Liquid traffic, Rookie.
2,500 pound airplane with big wings, and it's just a little bumpy.
Copy that.
So look down at the end of the runway and just pretend that's a piece of string, and you want to be kind of line up the string with the white dots on the runway. Look at the windsock. You're right down, the wind is right down the runway with a little bit of variability. It's probably 6 or 7 knots of wind.
Right base, runway 1, full stop, flying W.
Yankee Tango, short final 1. This will be touch and go. Oh, sorry, I was talking to him. You're not responding to me, I hope.
No.
Okay, this looks like a nice landing. Just let it come down to the runway with a little power. There's the right rudder missing now. So that was too much. That was too sideways, but that's okay. We're
5.
Let me get you out of here. Yeah, that one will be an interesting video. How are we looking on flaps?
Absolute 0. 55.
Let's get out of here.
60.
Flight W 738 Yankee Tango, touch and go, 1 airborne. Okay, brakes and boom, 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 boom. Everything's set. Your plane.
My plane.
Flying W traffic, experimental, final, runway 1, full stop, flying W.
I never did see what that plane was behind us, so might be that guy we saw a couple.
Traffic, Cherokee is downwind, runway 8, South Jersey.
Yeah, so we got really slow that time, and then we ended up with, I think he just put way too much right rudder in when we were like about to stop. Okay. And we pivoted 30 degrees to the right, and we were almost stopped anyway, but okay, so what's our airspeed? 76, looks good. We got a positive rate of climb, 500, 600 feet here. You can turn right. I would just look out your window, make sure you don't see any traffic. I don't see anyone in the ADS. And just have a look here. You can see your crosswind legs are significantly bigger than your base legs. So That's all related to the angle that you're taking in toward the runway every time. So I'm going to kind of push you to the left a little bit. Look back at the runway. You got a really nice square crosswind leg here. We're about middle of the nursery, so you can turn right anytime onto your downwind. This all looks good. You're 850 for 1049. And I can now feel the wind is definitely pushing you this way. So where was that smoke we saw out here? This radio sucks. Okay, so let's try and get nice and square here. So we know we keep going in that way. So let's just give ourselves 5 degrees to the left. There you go. Let's see if we can find something out here that looks like a landmark. So I can feel we're descending. Can you feel that? We're just,
yes.
Yeah, it's a little early to descend. We're only, it's that guy in the experimentals, that thing with the shovel. So here we go, we're going right again. Let's go back out this way. There you go. Just keep your eye on the horse track and the runway. And giving yourself a reasonably sized base leg is going to really help you get your flaps in and get the plane slowed down. Doesn't have to be 2 miles, but you know, 1/2 to 3/4 won't hurt you. Okay, you got your nose up to get the airspeed down. That was a good decision. Now we want to start our descent at about 300 feet per minute with about 1,700 RPMs of power in this plane. So just come in just a hair. We're just a little bit outside of our pattern box right now. There you go. That Wawa building is right over there, so this is probably a good time to turn.
South Jersey, Clipper is departing runway 8, South Jersey departing pattern to the northwest on the crossway.
738 Yankee Tango, right base 1 flying W. Okay, so we're a little high. We're 850 here, probably be at about 650, so let's not turn toward the runway. Let's just use the full base leg here. There you go. So, just a little bit extra descent. Instead of 300, make it 500 for a minute, and that'll get you where you're going. And we do have a little extra distance this time, so even 300 might work. Because I think you're going to be right at 5 when you turn base to final.
Get in?
I would wait a minute, just because we're going to be putting out a lot of drag with 40 degrees of flaps. This looks really nice. I think you're going to turn right into... So your nose came up a little. There you go. Yep, just a nice gentle turn. You're going to find it. The runway's over here. Yeah, lots of time. Now you could think about whether you want those flaps or not. We're out of the turn here.
The aircraft on the 45 to Solberg, you have the...
Now it's just a matter of getting yourself lined up. Do yourself a favor. Let me have the throttle. I would just hold this pitch, and if you think you need power, tell me. I'm just going to let you focus on 2 controls here. Well, 3, I guess, to pitch, the roll and the yaw. But I think we have just the right amount of power, so we got to come over to the right a little. And now a little left rudder to get you lined up. And that may change again. So I'm going to start working your power back. We're aimed for about the 3rd stripe. Here's the right rudder, just a little bit of pressure. Now the nose comes up, and I'll add a little power here, and I'm just going to add a little right rudder because I think we're going to do a go-around. Ready? They're just getting way too kooky, so let's get rid of 1 notch of flaps. Carb heats in. 738 Yankee Tango, go around, runway 1, flying W. All right, everything's in. I'm pushing down really hard to not have a departure stall here.
Right.
So we're climbing 500. We're still not at a VY climb yet, so we'll get rid of the rest of the flaps. And I just don't want to lose any airspeed. So there's 76,
right.
Positive rate, 300 feet, clear the wires, flaps up, mixture full rich, carb heats off, full throttle. Trim wheel set, fuel's on both, brakes are set, stopped, and you've got the plane.
I have the plane.
So we're going to clear the wires by 150 feet here, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, we were just too far down the runway to do a touch and go, and I didn't want you to have to do a big taxi back, so It was a good go-around practice.
So what
Maybe.
happened, a gust of wind, or did I not keep the nose lower?
So, you know, this is all, everything is set up from the minute you put the carb heat on midfield. So why don't we just do the most perfect one we can. It'll never be perfect, but let's get nice and square here. So look back. Sorry, I didn't hear that radio call.
Barron's outside and north inbound right downwind runway 1, flying Navy.
Okay, I lost that guy. Flying Navy traffic, 738 Yankee Tango is crosswind to downwind, runway 1, flying W. I don't know where that guy is. He looks like he's coming in fast, just entering the downwind leg, so he'll have to find us. I don't see him. So get me to 1049 and then we'll...
Traffic, November 431 Lima, inbound 2,000 feet, clearance runway 8. Sound true.
So the guy behind us is 877.
Traffic, Barron is now about 3 to north inbound, we're right down the runway 1, we have that one, we have that sky coming down in sight.
Okay, so that's Chris. He's fine. He's 2 miles behind us, and he'll slow down. So let's put the carb heat on. Let's pull the power back to 1700. Let's put 1 notch of flaps. Just lift the nose a second. We'll put 1 notch of flaps in, and then let's get this descent going because we're already out here. So when I said it all starts out here, look back at the airport.
Right.
Let's keep the pitch right about here. So I'm actually going to trim the nose down just a little. A lot of people fly this thing behind the power curve where the nose is really high. It's dangerous because you're right at the edge of the stall the whole way. So I'm going to put in another notch of flaps, right base. I'm fighting to keep the nose down here because the nose wants to come up a little.
Cherokee is departing runway 8.
Let's listen to these radio calls. So we're still 850. I'm going to grab some more flaps. I'm just trying to, I'm turning early because I know I got a bonanza.
Radio check.
Loud and clear.
I know I got a bonanza behind me, but we're going to get to 500 feet on final here.
Flying Navy traffic, Barron is midfield right downwind runway 1, full stop, Flying Navy.
Yankee Tango's right base to runway 1, flying W. Okay, so I'm still pushing down on the yoke because I feel like there's some back pressure, might be power.
So we're using 8.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm still pushing down. So we have full flaps now. Our power's set right. Our airspeed is what? 68? Is it 68? 65?
Yeah, 66.
Okay, so I think we're going to turn out just a tad high. And actually we're not. We're right on the glide path. We're at 400 feet, about a mile final. Yankee Tango, final 1, flying W. It'll be touch and go. I just want to let Chris know that we're touch and go in case he's coming in behind us. He doesn't have. So now I'm actually fighting to keep this. I don't know if you're pulling back. You're not pulling back at all. So I'm going to trim it down a little. And this is where we would want to use power if we thought we were descending too fast, which we're not.
Runway 1, full stop, Flying Navy.
So I'm trying, and there's a little bit of gustiness here. So let me grab this power real quick because I'm not going to change the pitch. I'm going to add power to clear these trees. So I never change my pitch attitude. Now I'm clear of the tree. And now I'm going to start taking the power back and aim, stay on the controls with me. I'm not doing a lot of really jerky movement. I'm just trying to stay aimed at that line, the number 2 line. And I'll probably land. So there's a little gustiness. And there's another little gust.
Cherokee's turning downwind,
But
runway 8.
feel how smooth that is?
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
1.5 mile final, runway 1, full stop, Flying Navy.
738 Yankee Tango, touch and go, 1 airborne. Okay, what are we looking like? Can we get out of here?
We can.
A little bit on the,
Down to 8 Delta Bravo, 5 miles final, straight in, runway 1, Flying Navy.
Alright, I'm going to give you the plane back. Flaps are up, mixture's full rich, carb heat's off, full throttle. I trimmed that, so I'll untrim it. Plane's yours.
Traffic 81 Lima, 1,400.
I'm going to see if I can get all these guys on the ADS here. Chris is behind us and there's somebody else straight in, so there'll be no factor for us. So it's a little gusty out here, so it's a very tricky landing day. Even if you had already soloed and you were out here, you know, you can feel how bumpy this is.
Right.
it is possible to grease this thing as we just did. I mean,
Right.
especially when there's wind blowing down the runway, we have lots of things in our favor, right?
Yes, we do.
And I
you
felt
not, man.
we
Very
ballooned
fast.
twice on that
That's
landing.
right.
So the trick there is not to overreact. You don't want to smash the nose wheel into the ground, so you do have to react, but it's gentle reaction to just, you know, we're trying to fly like in this little 2-foot envelope until the plane is ready to stall over the runway. And so if you pull the nose up abruptly, we're going to balloon way up in the air, then we're going to add power, and we're going to push the nose down, take the power out. The thing to do is just add a gentle back pressure. If it balloons up too much, put a little nose pressure down.
Cherokee is on final for runway 8, South Jersey.
Okay, nobody in the vicinity. There's a couple guys over in South Jersey, but you're clear here.
Find to be traffic diamond, 8 Delta Bravo, 2 mile final, runway 1, straight in, find W.
Okay, so let's plan on flying a little bit out here. There's a...
Jersey traffic, 818 mile.
This guy doesn't know where he is. So don't go below 1049 right now until we get to midfield. Just get your carb heat on and start slowing down. There you go.
Runway 1, find to be traffic diamond, 8 Delta Bravo, 1 mile final, straight in, runway 1, find W.
Okay, let's find the diamond on final. You see him anywhere? 1 mile final. I got nothing. I've got nothing. Let me see if I can.
Runway 8, gotcha.
Clearmont traffic, Cessna Cardinal is 7 miles to the northwest.
Yeah.
We'll be entering
Still don't see him, do you? Nope.
runway 31 Clearmont.
He is right. He's not as close as he thought. I think when he said 1 mile final, he was like 4 miles out. I still don't see him. So we're not going to turn until we get eyes on the
Jersey traffic, Cherokee's
diamond.
South Jersey.
South Jersey traffic, 81 Lima, final.
There he is.
Runway 8.
Okay, he's just crossing the sewer plant, the solar panel, so you can turn anytime you're ready.
Copy that.
So look at your power setting, you're just about 150 RPMs low, and that's going to impact your pattern a little bit. So if you add a little power right now and don't pitch up, add some power and watch what happens. So you can hold this sight line right there. This sight picture right here, add some more power because we're still descending and we just want to hang here. We're way, way out so I'm just going to add some more power. So I'm pushing down on the yoke right now because I don't want this sight picture to disappear. But if I add enough power, this plane is not really descending anymore. I'm still hanging it. This has a lag, but I'm still hanging at 500 feet, and I'm pushing down because I'm trying to avoid keeping, you know, nose up, nose down. And once you let go of it, like, it's really hard to push it back down now. So we're pretty far out here. Let me just get you back on a reasonable final here, and then you can land this thing. So I'm going to add a little power so we can hang. I'm turning toward, is we got way too much trim up in this thing too. That's one of the problems. So we're actually right on the glide path right now at 450. So I'm going to give you the plane. Let's try landing with 30 degrees of flaps. Maybe we had too much flaps for the gusty conditions.
South Jersey traffic, 81 Lima, clear.
So I'm looking at the windsock from way out here trying to gauge, you know, is the wind still variable? Is the wind coming down the runway? And it's definitely a quartering left headwind for about 30 to 40 degrees from your left. But you're right on the glide path and your pitch attitude's perfect, so I wouldn't do anything till you get closer to clearing all these trees. Our airspeed's a little high. I'm going to add the rest of the flaps for you because we're hauling ass right now. So we're going to go right into these trees if you don't add some power. There you go. Now you're clear of the last tree and you're still on the glide path, so you can just kind of gently work your way down to the runway. Yeah, when you see those trees coming up, it needs to, okay, right rudder and just touch of power, touch of power. Right rudder, touch of power, right rudder, and a little left aileron. Now we're landing. Ready? So we landed on the main gear. There was nothing the matter with that. Here we go. Trust me on this, you will be doing this just like when you couldn't taxi. What's our airspeed?
60.
We're gonna get out of here. I have a little bit too much trimmed down, so let's trim the nose back up. Flaps are up. Make sure it's full pitch. Carb heat's off. Full throttle. Trim wheel set for takeoff. Fuel's on both. You're plane.
High plane.
We're at 200 positive rate of climb, VY, and we're going to be clear of the wires at 350, no problem.
So on a day like this, you have to fly the plane down, huh?
You got to fly the plane down every day, but this is actually like fun. This is like a little bit of a challenge because you had a couple days where it was just like dead calm.
Right.
And it was like flying through water, right? You know, you just set the pitch, set the power, and the plane, I'm not saying it landed itself. Watch your pitch attitude here. Just keep an eye on your airspeed. I'm not saying the plane was landing itself, but you were not having to fly it as aggressively to the ground. And, you know, I think you're overflying it a little bit, which you will eventually get over that habit when you realize that this thing doesn't require that big of control inputs. Watch out for these birds. You can go ahead and turn downwind here if you want. Even on a day like this, you can probably land this thing with, you know, light pressure on one hand. But we want to get lined up and, you know, the rudder in and the plane aligned with the runway and on the right pitch attitude as far back as we can. And then you're going to find you really don't have to be doing a whole lot of correction. You're just...
You sound really good on the radio.
I can't hear who's saying what, but... Okay, so this is a good spot to begin your descent, you know, carb heat on, nose up. Flying W, 738 Yankee Tango, right downwind 1, flying W.
Flying W, 8 Delta Bravo is on the upwind, flying W.
Oh, Diamond just took off, that's who that was. Okay, this feels really good. Just try and make it, so look over at your power setting right now, you're at 15, let's make it 17 and you'll hang a little longer. Just come a little bit right so we're not heading out too far. So we're not really descending yet, which if you're doing that on purpose, that's fine. I would start your turn though. So that sight picture should look abnormal to you. It's got to be a little bit lower right there, yep. Just a little bit. And remember this thing lags a little, so you can use your altimeter as a guide as well. So this sight picture is going to be a little bit wrong. You're just a few degrees to, there you go. That's, I don't even need to look at this. That's the sight picture you want right there. And this is going to eventually get back to 300 feet per minute. I'm just going to grab another nacho flaps for you, and you can get the last one on final. Something is red hot over here, that light. Let's turn these lights off. I didn't know they were on. I still can't. Yeah, they're on right now. Okay, now they're off. Okay, so this actually looks pretty good. You're going to be maybe 75 feet high, but that's not going to be a problem you can't fix. As soon as you turn final, you're going to grab the next notch of flaps. Yankee Tango is 1 mile final, flying W, runway 1.
Lakewood Traffic Center, tour is right downwind for drop, power level is runway 6, Lakewood.
Just keep that pitch down. There you go. That's like right in the middle of your window is the second stripe. Let's just use really gentle corrections. So our descent rate is a little steep, so I just a touch, maybe 50 or 100 will get you. And I don't want you to lift the nose up until we're down near the runway environment.
Copy that.
We got a little bit of a crosswind, so we'll get ready to deal with that. We're going to land on your wheel because the wind is from your side. So here's where the right rudder needs to start going in. So I'm just going to...
Bravo, right base, runway 1, flying W.
I'm going to hold the nose down, and now I'm just going to... We got to get the power out and the right rudder in. nose down a little. We don't want to stall here. So that was pretty good drop, but we were still moving forward.
Good drop, surprisingly.
Okay, what is our airspeed?
40, 50, 55.
We have to get out of here. Flaps are 0, carb heat's off. We'll get the rest in a second. Wheel brakes, full throttle, trim wheel, and you have the plane. Mixture is set, and the fuel's on both. Check that trim wheel for me, because I can't see it from here. Looks good?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, so we have a positive rate of climb, and we are 73, 75 knots, so that's all good. You can just pick up 76. There you go, you got 76. So how'd that feel?
It felt okay.
Yeah, it's that, listen.
That drop though.
Well, so whenever you look out the window and you're like, oh man, I'm not 2 feet off the runway, I'm 10 feet. The plane has to go that way or you're going to drop out of the sky. So it doesn't take a lot of power to stop the descent and keep the plane moving forward. It could be as little as 50 RPMs. It might need, you know, depending how fast you're dropping, it might need 200. But usually 50 is a good place to start. And just, you got to react quickly. And most of the time we don't need that, but we have some gusty conditions today. I'm just going to look up what the conditions actually are here right now.
If I had added a little power, we would have floated down a little bit more, right?
You would have gone down the runway further.
Right.
Yeah, and that's our objective, to go that way and change the angle of our landing. You know, we're coming down like this, and you want to, you know, add a little forward motion to the plane, and we want to go a little further. Now, you have to be careful because sometimes there's no runway left.
Right.
We had plenty of runway.
Okay.
If that happens, then it's just a go-around. Sometimes doing a go-around is a really bad idea, you know, depending on where you are and how gusty it is. I was going to check the weather, and what does it say? 320 at 4. Not a lot of gusts, but it's definitely variable. We'll close that. Yeah, it's not a really, really gusty day out here. It's just a little tricky. We're landing at an airport that's, you know, got trees and farm fields on one end and trees on the other, so wind gets all trapped in there. What was the wind direction? 330? Yeah, it's coming from your left. So the wind pushes down into those trees and starts creating all kind of eddies down there, and then you fly into it. We got to put this. What time were we supposed to be back?
2 hours.
3 or 3:30?
3:30.
Okay, you can probably do another 1 or 2. It's up to you. I forgot to write down when we came out, but this thing is still running, and it says 48 minutes, so I guess we've been out here for about 50, 55.
We're going to try 2 minutes on the book of that ball. Plus 27 Sierra, 2 miles south, and bound for land.
So we got a little bit far out here, and I may have scared you a little bit that we were going in too far. Now we're out too far, so we got to find some landmarks on the ground here. So that Medford water tower, the light blue one, is kind of your visual reference that you're on a 90 degree base. I'm going to make a radio call. Flying W traffic, Sept 3 Yankee Tango, right base, runway 1, flying W. This looks really good. I like the descent rate. Very stable. 700, you'll be probably 500 when we turn final, because we have a little ways to go yet. Yeah, we were a little bit wide there. We should actually be about right here on downwind, so that end was about double what it needed to be, but we'll fix that. I can see what's happening after I told you about it. Now we've corrected about the same distance in the opposite direction. So look at your airspeed real quick and just make sure we're still good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a flap issue, yep. I would get them all in, you did. And now, you got the plane pointed right at the right spot, so just hold it there and really gentle corrections because the planes just get bounced around a little, but it's nothing serious. Look at the windsock. The wind is now coming from your right. Now it's right down the runway. Now it's starting to come from the left. So there's some variability, and that variability is because there's like wind trapped down in these trees that's coming out of 330 from that direction. Keep that nose pointed down and just use power to, yep, now here's the right rudder part, just a little bit. Lift the right rudder, lift the nose, lift the nose, lift the nose, lift the nose, and you can't let the right rudder out. Let me have the power. So this is going to be a go-around because we're just going to fall out of the sky here. So get rid of that carb heat for me. There's the first notch of flaps. We don't want to crash here, right? What's our airspeed?
Airspeed is 60.
Yeah, so we're kind of sort of...
floating up there.
Yeah, this is a...
We got 65, 70.
Okay, now we can begin. Chris got a little worried there when he saw us coming back down. Carb heat's off, flaps are 0. Can you visually confirm that?
Yes, absolutely.
Mixture is full rich, full throttle. Trim wheel is now set for takeoff. Fuels on both your plane.
My plane.
Yeah, so we were floating down, and it's a good time to practice a go-around. I did take the flaps out a little quickly. We were starting to get really slow, and we were probably 40 feet off the ground. So I took the flaps out, and I did not leave the last notch in. I should have.
Flight W, Unicom, Cooper 2. Go ahead, Cooper 2. Yeah, we're about 3 minutes out. We'd like to get some fuel if we could, please. Sure thing.
These guys are,
Thanks, sir.
these guys are on a mission today, right? Let's go ahead and turn downwind now so we don't get too far out here. That was a good crosswind. I'm gonna do one of these with you. Just I feel like if I demonstrate one more of these, so let me just fly one more of these with you, and you can stay on the controls with me. I want to do one more where I'm just demonstrating, and then one more where you give it a try. So there's 1049. I'm bringing the power right back to 1700. I can put the carb heat on right now. I'm a little short of where I want to begin my descent, so I'm just letting a little airspeed bleed off.
Helicopter 7 out to the west, inbound landing 01, flying W, 1000.
738 Yankee Tango, right downwind 1, flying W, looking out for Cooper 2. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for him. I'm not going to change my whole... do me a favor though, do you see him anywhere? Because I don't. He said he's 7 miles out. So we're carb heat on, 1 notch flaps. We're just a little further out where I want to be. So I'm going to start the descent. You know, I'm going to put it at like 250 to 300 feet per minute. I'm trimming the nose down a little so I don't have a lot of pressure when I add the flaps. I feel like we're getting a little slow here, so I'm going to add just a tad of power. And when I did that, the nose came up. So we're descending at 300 feet per minute. Look, no hands, right?
Right.
Plane's, I'm not saying it's flying itself, but I'm not doing a whole lot of work here. There's the horse track. I feel like this is, I'm going to add another notch of flaps because we have 3 notches to go there. Our altitude is 800 feet, so I'm going to give it another 5 seconds here. I feel like I still have a little pressure there. Airspeed is 78. I'm going to go ahead. Flight W 738 Yankee Tango is right base 1. I still don't see him. Do you see him anywhere?
Do not know.
Okay, so I said that water tower is a good visual reference, so when I get there, I'm going to look. Plane's still kind of, I don't know, maybe I need just a little more down trim. That's my sight picture I'm looking for. I'm still descending at 250 to 300. I'm going to add another notch of flaps. I still have 1 to go. There's Kirby's Mill. I'm going to try and turn right over. I can't see the ball, but you can. So look at that. Just, you know, not a lot of effort, but we're right on the glide path. Flight W738 Yankee Tango is 1 mile, final one.
Flying W traffic, Cooper 2 is going to be left base for 01, number 2 for Flying W.
You see him?
Yes.
Where?
I don't know.
Oh, he's over here. I got him. Sorry, I had to look over here, but I just lost what we were doing. So I'm going to take a touch of power out. I'm going to get back on the glide path, and I'm going to just take some power out. I can see some pink come in.
Yes.
There it is. So now I'm just going to hold this pitch attitude, set my power to 16 or 17. The wind is pushing me around, so I want to get lined up. Just stay on this with me, though.
Yes.
We have full flaps, gears down and locked, mixture prop switches, seatbelts, and flaps are fully set. And I'm still aiming for the second stripe. And I want to have my wheels down on the third one. And I'm trying not to make a lot of jerky movements here. So, you know, the question is, can I get down on the third stripe? I missed it by, 10 feet or something. Flap 0, carb heats off. Let's get back on the center line. Whoa, sorry.
Traffic, please use caution over cross T's.
Yeah, so that's one of the dangers of doing a touch and go. If a little gust of wind gets under your wing,
right,
it can scoot the plane sideways across the runway. All right, flying to be traffic, 738 Yankee Tango, touch and go, runway 1, airborne. Okay, everything's set. Mixture, carb heats off, mixture's full rich, flap 0, trim wheels reset, fuel's on both, and your plane.
My plane.
We're positive rate,
79
and coming up on 400 feet over the wires. You're all set. So, a little gustiness, a little variability in the wind speed as you touch down, which makes it tricky because, that's what's causing the ballooning.
Right.
You think you're landing, and then watch your pitch attitude and the airspeed there. There you go. When you see that pointing up like that, that should be like, first thing that should come to your mind is push that nose down a little. If we're at, 700 feet, we got plenty of room to push the nose down to not get killed here. Okay, that's what all that stall training we do is about, is recognizing when the airspeed is bleeding off and we're getting close to a stall. And we were nowhere near that, but it comes really fast. When you're already nose up, it comes really fast. Okay, we're coming up on 950 for 1049. Medical helicopters on the ground, and so let's just come in just a little bit, try and find the horse track up there, and use the outside edge of the horse track, and you want to be about quarter mile or so to the left of that. So we're descending, and it's a little too early to descend. Just a little bit left. There you go. Look over here and tell me if you think we're parallel, or you can just look at my GPS. We were just pointing in a little bit. There you go. I like this. So just let's hang here because we're 100 feet low.
Long clear as well, thank you.
Now you could start your descent because we're about where we want to be for 950. Helicopter's on the ground. He's actually on his dolly and he's getting fuel, so we're not going to worry about him, but just be aware where he is. He's fully shut down now. So keep an eye on the outside edge of that horse track, and let's not get any closer than this. That will give you at least enough room to turn.
2 minutes, so we'll be scattered over the field, 6,000 feet above. Scattered over cross T's in about 2 minutes, use caution.
There you go. I thought you grabbed the carb heat as your throttle there, because that won't help you when you add power.
But you won't.
Well, it actually will add just a little bit, but... So just absorb a little of those bumps instead of reacting really heavily to them, because they're just little puffs of wind coming up or from the side. Okay, this actually looks good. There's Kirby's Mill, so you don't want to turn before there, so let's roll out, throw another notch of flaps down. You're in the white arc, and now you can start to turn to final and just right over the outside edge of Kirby's Mill and over the solar panels, and you'll be all set up. Look at that. Nice. So you could have shallowed that turn a little bit and been a little bit over, but you're in good shape here. You're at 500 feet. You'll be fully stabilized at 450. Yep, a little more flap. So you got carb heat. So you got gas, undercarriage, down and lock, mixture prop switches, seat belts, and flaps. So there's nothing the matter with this one. You want to do one more after this?
Do we have time?
You do have time to do one more.
Okay.
You've actually done a lot today. So if you're getting frustrated, let me know. Alright, so you know you're going to need rudder, and whether it's right or left, I can't tell you, but it's probably going to be the right. And you're going to land a little bit long because our nose is pointed up a little bit. You can start working the power out slowly. And there you go, you're doing the right thing. We're lifting nose and right rudder, a little power. So, you know, that would have been a dangerous situation because if you were by yourself, I don't know, we could have ended up off the runway.
Okay.
This is a pretty wide runway, so flap 0, carb heat, soft mixtures, full rich, full throttle, and there's 60. 738 Yankee Tango, touch and go 1, flying W airborne. Okay, flaps, mixture, carb heat, throttle. Trim wheel is now reset. Fuel's on both, positive rate. 200 feet, you're at 72, your plane, just get to 76 and you're all set. You'll clear the wires, no problem at this pitch. Sorry, what were you talking about there?
So you're saying that if I was alone, that would have been a...
Yeah, so I've actually seen somebody go off the runway here, and so our goal is to put the wheels down right on the center line, straddling with the main gear and nose wheel touching it to the best we can, because...
Traffic radio check.
Is that us?
Oh, South Jersey traffic.
So, you're loud and clear, flying W.
Thank you.
So this is a relatively wide runway. It's not as wide as P&E or Trenton, but it's relatively wide compared to, say, Cross Keys or South Jersey. So maybe part of the training let's go ahead and turn downwind. Maybe the training would involve going over and landing on a narrower runway to realize what a giant margin you have here.
Right.
So look at your airspeed is bleeding off a little, so just watch your pitch.
Traffic on number 431 Lima, taxi normally, South Jersey.
There you go. So, I can't remember. Yeah, we want to land, we were like over in the outer third of the runway, maybe the outer 25%. And the danger there is you get a little wind or the runway is slippery or you hit the brakes. And I've been here, I have a video on my phone that somebody gave me where student landed, lost control, and luckily they went into the area on this side of the runway and didn't go near a fuel truck or a building or a bunch of planes, because they did need quite a bit of area to run out. The good news is they didn't overreact, slam on the brakes, and flip over in the wet grass. But I think that was more of an accident than intentional. Yeah, imagine you lose control in this thing, in the situation we were just in, and all of a sudden you're pointed at a fuel truck and you're bouncing and there's no brakes. And so that can happen, and I think I have some pictures of where it did up in Block Island. Somebody had a bad touchdown. Oh, you were with me, right? A couple weeks ago, and some guy had a bad landing and he flipped the plane over. And that probably didn't, that didn't happen over the course of 3 minutes. It probably happened over the course of 2 seconds, where he lost control and the plane was upside down, and, he smashed his head. Probably never saw it coming. Flying with 2 people is generally better than 1, just for that reason. Like 2 people keeping an eye out for all the stuff going on. Okay, let's roll out here, and then we'll use Kirby's Mill as, the inside of our turn. I like it. Just hold it 1 second, 1,000, let's go. Start your turn now, and you'll be lined up a little better. I like that you got the nose pointed down a little instead of up, though. You can start getting ready to add the rest of your flaps, maybe. So that was my fault. You probably were a second or two behind there. We're still stabilized though at 500 feet. This looks great. It's just really gentle corrections because it's a light wind here. Maybe even switched. I think it's straight down the runway, but we could even have a tailwind right now. I can't see the windsock. No, it's still down the runway. Just a touch of power. Yeah, it's right down the runway. Just keep the nose down and work it down slowly. And the plane always wants to be going forward until we're on the ground. So, little right rudder here. Nose up. Yeah, just a little. Little power. There you go. Perfect landing. Just a little left. Good. That was good. Let's knock this off. I'm gonna grab this for you. You okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was my best one, the last one.
It was, and that's a good reason to stop. You had a very good landing there. Let's just make sure nobody's coming from the left. You can open your window. I'll give you the plane back, and you can. I can actually get you. You got the carb heat. How's the trim wheel look? I'm gonna get some lights. Did I turn the beacon off by accident? I did. I got it. Okay, we're ready for parking and shutdown. Yeah, the last one was good. There's definitely some footwork that you need to focus on.
Right.
But other than that, and then when you solo, we're going to do it on a day where the conditions are significantly better than this. And then you'll find that your skill and your confidence will build really quickly once you've done this by yourself. And you realize
this is the first time I've landed in these kind of weather conditions.
Let me ask you, where do we get this plane? Position 2 or 3?
3.
3, okay. So let me just help you get this thing in so you don't have to waste a lot of money here. So we're just kind of lining up with his spinner, and you can start your parking and shutdown.
All right.
I'm going to count. I'm going to give you the brakes back too. Right. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Down avionics off.
So 12 is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, there's an extra one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nope. So let's look at this real quick. So this part of the pattern up here was really good. This was fairly consistent. But when we were coming down here, the first couple were the ones where we were heading into the base leg. And then I told you to make some correction. And then we started going way out here, and then he brought it back in, and our last ones were kind of right in here. So, yeah. These were like the first ones right there where we were way too close in. Then we went way too far out. And the last ones were actually the good ones right in here. I have the other, in Garmin Pilot, we have it set up so you can see the actual horse track on here. Actually, we can probably see it on here, can't we? Aerial map. So, where is that horse track? There it is right there. So you can see the horse track on the ground. So, about the same distance that the horse track is from Kirby's Mill, you want to double that, and that's where your downwind leg wants to be. All right, I'm going to kill this, and we'll get out of here. Everything shut off, except for the beacon.